Shortly, the academic procession will enter the graduation hall. When they've taken their positions on stage, Advance Australia Fair will be played, and we invite you to join in the singing of the national anthem. Would you please stand for the academic procession?
Please be seated. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I invite Chris Tobin, representative of the Darug people, to offer the traditional welcome to country.
Thank you. Budru Mulinul, everyone. Good morning. And Nalawa, welcome to the lands of the Walla Medical. I belong to one of the local Aboriginal families of the Darug people, the traditional custodians over this part of the country. I wish to firstly pay my respects to the country and its people, and to thank the university for their acknowledgement of us and the invitation to welcome you here this morning. That acknowledgement is important for our people and much appreciated. My family, in fact, descend from Yarramundi, a respected elder and cleverman of the Burruburungal clan during the early years of colonisation. He saw that our survival in this new world could best be secured if we could learn more about it. And so he enrolled his daughter, Burrungari, or Maria, into the Native Institute, a school set up in 1815 by Governor Macquarie, offering formal education to Aboriginal children. Maria studied there for several years and used her newly acquired skills to lobby and ultimately secure some land for herself and her family out along the Richmond Road. Other Aboriginal families soon joined them, and it became known as the Blackstown, where the present-day city of Blacktown gets its name. We are very proud of her, as I'm sure your families are of you here today. And with good reason. Your success is our success. Your advancement, our advancement. Now, that was probably better understood in more traditional times when camp groups were smaller and clans abided by strict sharing laws, which meant the food that you caught and brought back was distributed throughout the rest of the camp. Your skills and good fortune were thus enjoyed by all. Your efforts literally nourished the rest of the community, and you in turn were looked after by them. Yes, we can live quite beautifully when we work together. Our Aboriginal ancestors certainly live well in many respects, and I use occasions like this to offer them to yourselves as a benchmark or a model on how good to expect our lives today. You see, when Captain Cook arrived here almost 250 years ago now, he encountered a people whom he described as one of the happiest people he'd ever met. They owned nothing but the tools they carried, made their shelters from the bark of trees without cutting them down, and harvested food from the earth without excessive tilling or clearing. Now, these were not primitive societies, these were ancient cultures. So there was no slavery, no armies, no rich and poor, no rents or mortgages, and no homelessness. People cooperated to collect the resources that were needed, which were then shared out according to strict Aboriginal law. Our lands were maintained with fire and responsible harvesting. Our rivers and waterways kept clean and unpolluted, with people drinking out of them as they have done here for the past 20,000 years. So understand, this is not a dream or an ideal, this is normal life for us, and for the longest time. And there's no reason why we should expect less for ourselves and our children than what our ancestors enjoyed. Admittedly, there's a lot more of us. However, we're a clever people, and there is still much magic in the world, I believe. So graduands, I would say expect great and wonderful things from your life. Life is good and we are naturally a happy people. I would suggest you share your gifts with the rest of us, be kind and fearless, and keep following that beautiful spirit within you that got you this far. Do this, and I'm confident that together we can put together a country and a world that we can be proud of, and a future that is worthy of our children. We can all do our bit. I'll do mine now by winding up and letting you graduate. Just want to say congratulations to all of you and all the best in our collective futures. Thank you. Welcome to country.
Ladies and gentlemen, I am pleased to introduce the Deputy Vice-Chancellor Academic of Macquarie University, Professor Kevin Jamieson, who presides today.
Can I start by saying thank you, Chris. Thank you for being here today. It's always special to have you here at graduations, and we thank you for your warm and generous welcome to country. Thank you. Colleagues, guests, families and friends of our graduands, and most importantly of all, graduands, it's my distinct honour and a pleasure to welcome you here today to this graduation ceremony. I bring our graduands and your guests a special greeting from the members of our University Council, the governing body of the university. I hope that this will be a very happy and a memorable occasion for all of you. I see that we have a number of small children and even a few babies here today, and I want you to know that they're especially welcome. There's no celebration that isn't improved by the presence of children, and we hope they'll enjoy their day too, and perhaps one day return as Macquarie students. Today we celebrate the wonderful achievements of those of you about to graduate. Completing a degree is never easy. You need an intelligent and inquiring mind, determination and perseverance, and you need to make many sacrifices. You have worked very hard to get here today, and you have every right to feel proud of what you've accomplished. We here at the university are just as proud of you, and I am very pleased to be able to stand here and congratulate each and every one of you. I also want to especially welcome the families, supporters and friends of our graduands here today, both here in the hall and watching the live stream. The fact that you've been invited by one of our graduands to share one of the great days of their lives is proof positive of your importance. As a father of 3 sons, one who has finished university, one who is close to finishing, and one who is just starting, I can empathise with the challenges and triumphs that you have no doubt watched and shared, and your pride and emotions today. So to our invited guests, congratulations to you also, and thank you for celebrating this great occasion with us. You graduates here today may not realise it, but you're about to participate in one of the oldest of Europe's social rituals. If you were to pick a date, say 1500 AD, and look at what social institutions were then around and are still around today, you would only find about 60, including the Roman Catholic Church, the parliaments of England, Iceland, and the Isle of Man, and 6 Swiss cantons or local government areas. The rest of the 60 are all universities. In fact, graduation ceremonies are even older than that. For more than 800 years, graduates have been donning gowns just like the ones you are wearing now and participating in ceremonies like this one. And since those earliest graduations, the ceremony has remained almost unchanged, a defining feature in the life of every university and its students. Now, we all realise that Macquarie is not one of those ancient universities, as we're only just over 50 years old. Although we are among the youngest universities in the world, we're very proud to take part in this time-honoured ceremony with you today. Youth, however, has its advantages. Macquarie is a very modern and outward-looking university. We enjoy an enviable reputation for world-leading research excellence, engagement, and impact. We progress by extending our research, our partnerships, our course offerings, and facilities. We have a proud tradition of innovation and discovery, and our pioneering approach is built upon a collaborative and connected learning community. This is a very exciting time for Macquarie University, amidst much change, as the vision for this remarkable campus continues to unfold. No doubt you will have witnessed the development taking place on the campus as you came here today. We now have over 190,000 graduates living in more than 140 countries. It's very clear we are forward-looking and we're on the move. We proudly take our name from Australia's greatest colonial governor, Governor Lachlan Macquarie, a man whose greatness and achievements were never acknowledged by his contemporaries, but only by history. We learnt at school that Macquarie was a great builder, but his greatest legacy had nothing to do with bricks and mortar. It was the ethos he established, much to the annoyance of the British authorities, of an egalitarian society, the foundation of the Australian notion of a fair go for all. And that is the legacy that here at Macquarie we'll always aim to maintain and to honour. Now, notwithstanding Macquarie's greatness, it's fair and important to acknowledge that some of his actions would not pass muster today. For example, removing Aboriginal children from their families would certainly not be tolerated. It's worth pausing to reflect on how many things we accept today that we or our children will one day look back on with shoes. I hope Macquarie University will impart to all its students is the capacity for moral and ethical reflection and a yearning to help right the wrongs, not just of the past, but also of our time. Macquarie University will always be a leader in teaching and learning and a leader in the accumulation of wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. However, our collective journey is about building community, where we have shared values, where we share things in common, and where we care about each other, even when our points of view on some matters diverge. In other words, an ideal community of scholars. So, ladies and gentlemen, academic and professional colleagues, and most importantly, our graduands, I offer you the warmest of welcomes to Macquarie University on this grand occasion. And in just a few minutes, it'll be my great pleasure and honour to confer your degrees upon you and welcome you as lifelong members of that community of scholars that we proudly call Macquarie University. But before I do that, it's my great pleasure to introduce and welcome our occasional speaker, Dr. Teresa Ching. Dr. Teresa Wasi Ching was awarded her doctoral degree in phonetics and linguistics from the University of London in the UK in 1981. She held faculty positions in the University of London and the Chinese University of Hong Kong before coming to Australia to take up a research fellowship in 1993 at Macquarie University and to head hearing rehabilitation research since 2001 at the National Acoustic Laboratories. She was awarded a Public Service Medal by the Australian Government in 2008 in recognition of her contributions as a researcher and innovator. So I invite Dr. Ching to deliver the occasional address. Please join me in welcoming her to the stage.
Thank you, Professor. It's such an honour to be invited to speak to you at the graduation ceremony, and I thank the university for that opportunity to do so. Congratulations, everyone. Congratulations to the bachelors, the masters, the doctors-to-be, and to your family and friends who are here to celebrate this very great day with you. I could still remember some 25 years ago when it was my great day at the Royal Albert Hall, when my parents made their first ever overseas trip to London to be there with me to witness the Vice-Chancellor of the university conferring the doctoral degree on their daughter. The whole proceedings was conducted in English, and neither of my parents spoke a word of English, so they didn't understand a word of what was being said. But that was the proudest day of their lives. My father is my hero. When I was 4 years old, he told me, "There is nothing in the world that you cannot achieve if you put your heart to it and believe in it." My parents came to Hong Kong as refugees with barely a few cents in their pockets. They believed firmly in the value of education in a free society for their children. Those words were said to me when my father was holding my hands and knocking on doors of schools to find a place for their 4-year-old child. Unemployment was high, education was not free, but the persistence paid off. I believe that every child should have the same opportunities to achieve their potential. And that includes children with hearing loss. When a child has hearing loss, that child has so much difficulty communicating with the world around him or her. Deafness cuts you off from people. Those were the words that Helen Keller, a blind and deaf educator, said in 1933. A child who has a hearing loss has difficulty learning to speak, learning to communicate, learning to listen, learning to relate to the world around him or her. It not only cuts off the language or the potential education achievements, it also makes the child feel frustrated, isolated, lonely. It's like living in a bubble. And what can we do to help children with hearing loss to achieve their full potentials? We knew from the past that there were certain things that we could be doing, but even better, with all those technological advances now, there is so much more possibilities that we can do to help those children. The best thing would be to follow how these children develop, to find out what happened in their lives, to find out what find out in their families, to also measure their outcomes as they grow, to try and identify what could actually help them to achieve their full potentials. And that's exactly what we have done with the longitudinal outcomes of children with hearing impairment study, or the Lockie study. We followed about 450 children who were born with hearing loss right across Australia. We measure their outcomes as they grow. We ask their parents what happened at home, what happened at intervention, and we've learned a lot on what we can do to help. We've learned that early detection and early intervention is the key to better outcomes. Children whose hearing loss was diagnosed early, whose intervention was received early, achieved better language outcomes, they achieved better educational outcomes, they had better psychosocial skills, they had better quality of life. We learned that development of communication skills as early as possible is very, very important. And even more so, we learned that parents, families, they are the main drivers of those early communication skills development. The Lockie study provides us with the evidence that links better outcomes with early intervention. They help to pave the way for national hearing screening programs so that children now born with a hearing loss gets detected earlier on. And they receive intervention very earlier on with the aim of encouraging to develop good outcomes. Well started is not all done, I quote Greg Lee, the chairperson of the Australasian Newborn Hearing Screening Committee. We started really well, but all is not done. And what is not done? Well, we are making sure that every child born with a hearing loss is screened for hearing at birth. We're making sure that if they need hearing aids, those hearing aids are fitted very earlier on. But what we don't know is how many children actually did fall through the cracks across the country. We don't have a national management system, a surveillance system, to enable us to prevent anybody falling through the cracks. What is not done is we haven't been doing very well with our Aboriginal children. 1 in 2 Aboriginal children below 12 months of age has a hearing loss. A hearing loss which goes undetected, unnoticed, let alone receiving any intervention, until that child hits school age, until that child reaches 6 years of age. 6 long years lost when the child lives in muffled hearing, looking at what's around him or her and trying to make sense of what's there and trying to communicate and feeling frustrated, feeling isolated because that child is living in bubbles. Even worse, that hearing loss is avoidable. 60% of the world's population of children with hearing loss has a hearing loss that is avoidable. And in Australia, that is due to middle ear problems. Middle ear problems, which is very common in very young children, which tends to resolve in a few days in non-Indigenous children. And for those who do not resolve, they can be treated with specialist surgery. In Aboriginal children, they tend to occur much earlier. They tend to be much more severe with all sorts of complications. They tend not to be resolved, and it was very hard to access specialist treatment. It clearly takes some systematic method on a national basis to address these problems so that even our Aboriginal children have access to that early detection, early intervention, and the better outcomes that we can hope for our future generations. And may I remind you that there is a lot that we can do on an individual level. Remember those parents, the caregivers, they are the main drivers of early communication development. You may ask, what does leaning into communication mean? Well, it means cutting down on your screen time, increasing your face-to-face time, and I don't mean FaceTime, I do mean face-to-face. Cutting down on your screen time, cutting down your texting time, increasing your talking time, sharing reading time, enjoying activities together. Those are the things that each and every one of us can do at an individual level to help our children grow, to help them to achieve their full potentials. I started the talk by sharing with you some of the words that sit close to my heart from my father when I was a 4-year-old. I urge you, each and every one of you, who has benefited from the university with all the skills and knowledge and the learning capacities that you have gained through your university education, to look into your heart, to look at what is the true inner meaning of your life, and to be honest to yourself, to stick to what your heart tells you to do, and to persist, and you'll shift the dial, and you'll make the world a better place for your fellow men and fellow women. I close by a quote from Steve Jobs. he said, "Have the courage to follow your heart and your intuition." They somehow know what you truly want to become. Congratulations once again. Thank you.
Teresa, can I start by saying thank you for being here today, and thank you for making such an important contribution to our graduation ceremony today. I found that a wonderful, wonderful occasional address. I think you covered so many important issues: the importance of family, the importance of education, and education not just for some, or not even for the many, but education for all. And I think there were some very, very powerful words there. It's clearly a very passionate speech and a heartfelt speech. And I think your advice and your injunction to all of us, but also our most recent graduates, is what is the meaning of your lives? How are you going to be part of this mission? If not in this particular area, what other part of the world, what other part of life are you going to make your contribution in? So it was a wonderful speech, and we really appreciate it. Thank you very, very much. Please join me in thanking Teresa again. As Deputy Vice-Chancellor Academic of Macquarie University, I especially look forward to presiding at ceremonies such as today's and conferring degrees on those who have complied with the university's requirements for their awards. I now call on our Acting Registrar, Ms. Kylie Ebert, to formally certify the eligibility of those who have met the requirements for these awards.
Deputy Vice-Chancellor, I certify that all candidates being presented here today and those who are absent have satisfied the requirements of the Academic Senate for the degrees they are to be awarded. Would all candidates for admission to degrees please stand?
That's definitely you. In the name of Macquarie University Council, and by my authority as Deputy Vice-Chancellor Academic, I admit each of you present and those who are absent to the degrees for which you have qualified. Congratulations.
Graduates, please be seated. Deputy Vice-Chancellor, the graduates at this ceremony are from the Faculty of Human Sciences. I now call on Professor Simon Handley, Executive Dean of the Faculty of Human Sciences, to present the graduates. Professor Handley.
Deputy Vice-Chancellor, the graduates today are from the Faculty of Human Sciences. Our faculty hosts a unique combination of disciplines connected by the common purpose of building an understanding of what it means to be human. Our departments of educational studies, psychology, cognitive science and linguistics offer innovative and interdisciplinary teaching programs and research strengths in learning, behaviour, mind and language. We aspire to develop a deeper understanding of the human experience and deliver graduates with highly developed professional and personal skills. Human Sciences carries out research that is globally competitive, with all our disciplines represented in the world's top 100 performers across the QS, the Shanghai, and the Times Higher rankings. We have internationally recognised research excellence in reading and literacy, language sciences and linguistics, perception and action, early childhood, emotional health, expert performance and hearing sciences, amongst others. The translation of our research is facilitated through our Academy for Professional Development in Education, together with our on-site clinics for speech and hearing, for psychology, emotional health and reading, which are housed in the Australian Hearing Hub. The Hub brings together some of the country's best researchers, educators and service providers from industry, government and academia, making a difference to people's lives through the delivery of services informed by leading research and expertise. Our work is building a better understanding of human behaviour, language and learning. and our graduates are ideally positioned to apply this knowledge in creative and innovative ways to deliver transformational change for individuals and communities. We wish them well on the next stage of their journey. Deputy Vice-Chancellor, I present to you the graduates from the Faculty of Human Sciences whom you have admitted to degrees. I present graduates admitted to the degree of Bachelor of Arts, Psychology with the Bachelor of Education, Primary. Laura Brown. Simone Fisher. Claire Wilson. Deputy Vice-Chancellor, I present graduates admitted to the degree of Bachelor of Arts Psychology with the Bachelor of Human Sciences. Gabrielle MacDonald. Sabrina Miller. Deputy Vice-Chancellor, I present graduates admitted to the degree of Bachelor of Arts with the Bachelor of Education, Primary. Christopher Au. Hannah Sophia Corbett. Ziba Farouk. Grace Fitton. Oliver Green. Amira Homsi. Alon Horry. Philip Dupin de Fondumière. Gabrielle K. Smith. Yi Won Kim. Megan Lee. Catherine MacDonald. Ryan Marchetta. Kenneth Morris. Sandra Nui. Madison O'Connor. Parina Vinod Payani. Linda Sieve. Kerry Snyders. Claudia Traga. Theodore Wicks. Jack Willis. Deputy Vice-Chancellor, I present graduates admitted to the degree of Bachelor of Arts with the Bachelor of Education, Secondary. Lucy Birrell. Lucy Boardman. Siobhan Christie. Georgia Drinan. Amanda Ellen Sanders. Martina Fragg. Amy Gueguis. Diego Lagrasa. Lydia Pendlebury. Sarah Robertson. Ella Scott. Deputy Vice-Chancellor, I present graduates admitted to the degree of Bachelor of Science with the Bachelor of Education, Secondary. Jessica Butterfield. Jessica Coluzzi. Shri Kulkarni. Jack Raychick. Callum Robinson. Shane Sandott. Alexander Yao. Deputy Vice-Chancellor, I present graduates admitted to the degree of Bachelor of Arts. Fatima Al-Wahib. Saeed Nasser Saeed Obaid Al-Taheri. Josh Blanche. Carla Feeney. Maria Humayun. Ji-Yoon Koo. Monique Leporis. Lara Levolsi. Jennifer McGovern. Alana Notarangelo. Sarah Rust. Fei Sung. Thomas Stevens. Jemima Wilmot. Deputy Vice-Chancellor, I present the graduate admitted to the degree of Bachelor of Arts, Psychology, Enrique Fox. Deputy Vice-Chancellor, I present graduates admitted to the degree of Bachelor of Education, Early Childhood Education, Birth to 12. Abby Arbarquez. Rihanna Burridge. Sophie Carter. Nicole Chan. Bernice Chung. Nicholas Elderton. Sophie Fisher. Grace Gabrielle. Shireen Hamo. Adrienne Levy. Jorlyn Lee. Anna Levisianos. Hui Hong Lu. Samantha Ma. Catherine McGregor. Janice McMurtry. Leah McConnell. Chloe Mitchell. Natalie Perkovich. Ellen Prowse. Teal Rosen. Sarah Ross. Melanie Ruse. Monique Scruton. Deputy Vice-Chancellor, I present the graduate admitted to the degree of Bachelor of Education, Primary, Sonia Fattore. Deputy Vice-Chancellor, I present graduates admitted to the degree of Bachelor of Human Sciences, Madison Cochran. William Cole. Elizabeth Everett. Yanran Fu. Michelle Italiano. Kay Wu. Rochelle Percival. Deputy Vice-Chancellor, I present graduates admitted to the degree of Bachelor of Science. Naomi Buskila. Courtney Munro. Deputy Vice-Chancellor, I present the graduate admitted to the degree of Bachelor of Social Science, Lily Bennett. Deputy Vice-Chancellor, I present the graduate admitted to the degree of Bachelor of Teaching, Birth to 5 years, Mia Hu. Deputy Vice-Chancellor, I present graduates admitted to the degree of Bachelor of Teaching, Early Childhood Education, Charlie Yik Wei Leung. Katrina Martiskin. Deputy Vice-Chancellor, I present the graduate admitted to the degree of Master of Advanced Translation and Interpreting Studies, Yuki Ajiro. Deputy Vice-Chancellor, I present graduates admitted to the degree of Master of Applied Linguistics. Brendan Kavanagh, who has been awarded the Macquarie University Award for Academic Excellence. Sally Matthews, who has been awarded the Macquarie University Award for Academic Excellence. Gabriella Tama. Deputy Vice-Chancellor, I present graduates admitted to the degree of Master of Applied Linguistics and TESOL. Georgia Apostolopoulos. Uvema Andres Bernal Combita, who has been awarded the Macquarie University Award for Academic Excellence. Zhejiao Sai. Arachiga Amila Dabare. Catherine Douglas. Natalie Estrella. Giali Her. Pegar Kamali Moghadam. Hong Van Lee. Junyao Lee. Farzaneh Moravati. Salam Musa Ogli. Masuma Zera Nakvi. Luciana Rodriguez. Kamia Sedakhatkish. Naoya Takahashi. Lorena Rube Velasquez. Yan Yan. Deputy Vice-Chancellor, I present graduates admitted to the degree of Master of Disability Studies. Fiona Brennan. Justin Johnston. Jerome Vaillant, who has been awarded the Macquarie University Award for Academic Excellence. Karen Wilson. Deputy Vice-Chancellor, I present graduates admitted to the degree of Master of Early Childhood. Deborah Caputo. Ji-hee Kim. Swet Mi Lee. Deputy Vice-Chancellor, I present graduates admitted to the degree of Master of Education. Julia Cuthbertson. Camilla Hui Hui. Jyoti Singh. Angela Taylor. Deputy Vice-Chancellor, I present graduates admitted to the degree of Master of Educational Leadership. Melinda Cairns. Jacqueline Ward. Deputy Vice-Chancellor, I present graduates admitted to the degree of Master of Special Education. Megan Cairnduff. Melissa Castle. Diane Dowson. Helen Gill. Michelle Lickenbar. Deputy Vice-Chancellor, I present graduates admitted to the degree of Master of Teaching, birth to 5 years. Catherine Albany. Nicolette Francesca Belog. Suzanne Hammermaster. Amapreet Kaur. Alison Smith, who has been awarded the Macquarie University Award for Academic Excellence. Deputy Vice-Chancellor, I present graduates admitted to the degree of Master of Translation and Interpreting Studies. Ina Lim. Yun Chao Ma. Yatong Jiang. Deputy Vice-Chancellor, a higher degree by research is awarded to a graduate who has successfully completed a programme of study in which the defining characteristic is research. The Doctor of Philosophy is awarded to graduates who have demonstrated the capacity to conduct research independently by forming a distinct contribution to the knowledge of the subject and to afford evidence of coherence and originality, shown either by discovery of new facts or by the exercise of independent critical power. Deputy Vice-Chancellor, I present graduates admitted to the degree of Doctor of Philosophy. Dr. Betty Ho, for a thesis entitled Application of Cognitive Behavioural Approaches with Children with Autism Spectrum Disorder. Dr. Jacqueline Macquarie, for a thesis entitled Access and Equity in Work Integrated Learning Placements, a host organisation perspective. Dr. Sandy Nichol, for a thesis entitled How do pre-service teachers engage students in learning during professional experience? Dr. Joe Ray, for a thesis entitled Country Tracking Voices, Darug Women's Perspectives on Presences, Places and Practices. Dr. Robert Seymour, who studied under a co-chatel joint PhD agreement with the University of Illinois at Chicago in the United States of America, for a thesis entitled Atypical Cortical Connectivity in Autism Spectrum Disorder, as measured by magnetoencephalography. Dr. Lena Teichmann, for a thesis entitled Associations, Expectations and Meaning, Decoding the Neural Processes Underlying Conceptual Representations. Deputy Vice-Chancellor, that completes this morning's presentation of the graduates from the Faculty of Human Sciences.
Deputy Vice-Chancellor, I call on Dr. Jacqueline Ann Macquarie, who has graduated today with a Doctor of Philosophy, to speak on behalf of the graduating group. Dr. Macquarie.
Wow, you look fabulous. Before I begin, I would like to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land on which we meet, the Wadamadagal clan of the Darug Nation, and I pay my respects to elders past, present and future, and I would like to extend that respect to all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people with us here today. I would also like to acknowledge Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander culture for reminding us of our individual and collective responsibility to share and pass on knowledge. Deputy Vice-Chancellor, members of the University, fellow graduates and guests, it's a great honour to speak on behalf of the graduates from the Faculty of Human Sciences on this special day. Let me start by congratulating us, or you, us, on all our hard work and effort. Well done, and you should be really proud of your accomplishments. We, the graduates, however, don't achieve our bachelor's, our master's, or our PhD on our own. Our peers, Macquarie's excellent academic and professional staff have all played a significant part in supporting and guiding our learning. So thank you for sharing your knowledge, for passing on your knowledge, for investing your time and energy in our learning endeavours. And in the case of Masters and PhD graduates, there's actually a special thank you that needs to happen to those people who've been our supervisors. They have shared not only their expertise, but have really gone next level in terms of the assistance and encouragement that they've provided throughout the highs and the lows, and there are many lows, when you are undertaking an advanced degree. So thank you to those supervisors. Study and indeed learning, as I've just mentioned, is not something that we do alone. And a big thank you has to go to our family and our friends, our work colleagues, and all the other important others in our lives who've not only sustained us, but championed us over the past years. In my case, support came in a variety of forms, from cooked meals to childminding, to feedback on ideas and writing, and my own personal fan club who cheered me from the sidelines when there were times that I just wanted to give up and throw in the towel. And more often than not, it really takes a village to help a graduate reach their goal. So if you haven't already thanked your village, I suggest that you do so before the day's out. My PhD research focused on diversity, inclusion and equitable student access to work-integrated learning. So that's the type of learning where a student undertakes a placement or an internship with a workplace as part of their undergraduate studies. One of the findings that struck me was something I came to talk about as the power of one. This is where I heard stories from just a handful of participants that highlighted their intentional and deliberate efforts to open doors for a student or a group of students who found it challenging for a variety of reasons to access a placement. There were stories where individuals removed unnecessary selection criteria that created or perpetuated access barriers for some students. And there was another wonderful story of a workplace supervisor who said to me, "Sure, I'll host the visually impaired student. I don't mind taking them on. I know they're going to learn heaps, but the reality is I'm probably going to learn a whole lot more about how to be an inclusive employer." And ultimately, it was through the efforts or the power of one person that access to this highly effective learning strategy was made possible for someone who might ordinarily not had access or been excluded and marginalised as part of the process. So as you prepare to move on to this next stage in your life, this next big professional step that you're going to take, and with this idea of the power of one in mind, I think we can take some advice from Michelle Obama, who, when she was talking to a group of students, said that when you start thinking about success in life and how to measure it, she stated, success isn't something that has to do with the amount of money you make. It's all about the difference that you make in other people's lives. So the difference you could make could be in a classroom, a playground, a staff room, or any number of other settings. There are endless possibilities as to where you can be a powerful force for good in another's life. Use what you've learnt in this place to make that difference. Congratulations to you all, and I wish you the very best in your future endeavours. Thank you.
Thank you, Jacqueline, for those wonderful words on behalf of your peers and your fellow students. I think there are some very important things in there. I think you touched on important issues of peers and colleagues, families, friends, academic and professional staff. I think that was all wonderful and very, very important, and a good reminder to all of us that those things do make a difference. And I think, tying back to our occasional speaker, the imperative to make a difference, to think through what actually makes a difference and to make that difference, I think is a really important reminder. So thank you again, and please join me in thanking Jacqueline for her wonderful speech. Ladies and gentlemen, that wonderful voice belongs to Miss Angela Brewer. We're very lucky to have Angela join us at graduations, and I think you'll agree she makes a real contribution to our day here today. So please join me in thanking again Angela for her performance. Would you please also join me in thanking our musicians? On the organ, Dr. James Forsyth. And on the transverse flute, Dr. Chai Chung-Ning. In addition, I'd like to take this opportunity to thank and acknowledge the representatives from our alumni community who come to each graduation to help you graduates to get through the day. So can I ask our alumni volunteers to perhaps stand up? And I'd like to thank them as well. Graduates, this ceremony marks a change in your relationship with Macquarie University, but it's certainly not the end of your association with us. From today on, and for the rest of your lives, you are part of a much bigger Macquarie family, which is our alumni, and part of the network of over 190,000 Macquarie alumni spanning the globe. We will keep in touch with you through our Alumni Relations Office and hope that you'll come back here to attend alumni events, to undertake more study, or just to visit our beautiful campus. Graduates, the award of a university degree carries many opportunities and privileges, but like all privileges, it also carries responsibilities. I'd like to finish with some thoughts for you to take away with you. First, I'd like to urge you to commit yourselves to a program of lifelong learning and inquiry. I urge you to set ambitious goals for yourselves, and I urge you to continue the hard work that has already brought you so far. However, I urge you also to think about how you can help others along the way. You don't have to do much sometimes to make a difference in someone's life, and you don't need to be a Nobel Prize winner to change the world. Sometimes simply a kind gesture or a kind word can mean an enormous amount to a recipient. So I urge you to always give thought to what you can do for others along the way. I also challenge you to continue to exercise sound judgment and initiative, and to always be generous in offering practical advice and wisdom to those you meet on life's journey. My hope is that as graduates of Macquarie University, you will use what you have learned here, not only for your own benefit, but also for the betterment of your communities. And in all you do, I charge you to uphold the good name of Macquarie University. Finally, I hope that you will always remember the people who have helped you along the way, many of whom are here or watching right now. So to acknowledge their contribution and thank them for it, I'm going to ask you to do a few things. First, I'd like all our new graduates to stand up. Now I want you to turn around and place your testamenters on the seat behind you and turn around to face your families and your friends. And now I invite you to give them a mighty round of applause. You can turn around now, but don't sit down just yet. Here on the dais are representatives of our academic staff who have supported you throughout your journey. Please join me in thanking them also. Graduates, please remain standing, but do pick up the testaments from the seat behind you, as we'll soon be leaving. Again, to the newest graduates of Macquarie University, my warmest congratulations and my every best wish for a future filled with success, satisfaction, and most importantly, happiness. Now, might I ask everyone to stand? Shortly, I will lead the official party out to be followed by the graduates. I then invite you all to follow the graduates down to the marquee for some light refreshments. Thank you very much.